Whoa! Whoa, what's up, dudes? Boy, just came here. Just got out of the chopper. Came down here I'm doing a little bit of discussion on this theory I came up with. Maybe someone else out there, has discussed this too. Personally, I've never heard of it. I just kind of came up with my own, so I'm just going to let you guys know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, I like to call it bounding theory. What are you talking about? What is that with bounding theory? That sounds kind of cool. What is that? Let me explain. So let's say you have 100 people ranking a skill level. I don't know, they're playing a game. Maybe it's a leaderboard, maybe it's a ladder, maybe something, some other kind of ranking system, some kind of ELO. But you have 100 of them, and we're just using 100 just for an example. And it really can be anything, but skill is certain, right? So it's like, that's one thing about ELO. Maybe someone has a higher ELO, but is less skilled. But then, I don't know. Honestly, it's a huge debate, but let's just make it simple. So basically, the theory says that everybody under those above them are limited. They're bounded by the people above them. But what's very interesting is 100, number 100 and number 2, all of those people are bounded by the top player, the number 1. And obviously, this isn't quite true. And of course, also, an unbounded player, it doesn't always reach rank 1, because how can number 1's player affect 2 to 100's gameplay? How does that make any sense? Well, it's because the reality of the situation, and not a lot of people realize this, gameplay and results they're causative. They're not proactive. They're reactive, and people would like to choose where they be, but that's not really how it works. More like you get put somewhere based on how you based on how you perform. And so that's why people who get to the number 1 spot in anything are able to get there at all, because they have this unbounded identity, gameplay, their skill level, and so they're able to rise up to that number 1 spot, because that is what is indicative of that number 1 spot. Number 2 is inherently restricted, bounded by that number 1 spot. I do think there's a lot of cases of really talented players who are unbounded, or it's likely to call them unbounded, and they're not rank 1. They're random, or they're in random spots, and they don't perform, and they don't really play or practice. I do think that happens a lot. One thing about these players that is very different from your average Joe who kind of sucks is that the skill level is different, but the results are very similar. But the results tend to fluctuate a lot in a good way, because I think most people's results fluctuate a lot in a bad way. People who are unbounded, or whose gameplay is unbounded, really is what the important part is. It fluctuates very good. You can beat someone who's much better than you if you have unbounded gameplay, because the point is you're doing everything right. That's where this unbounded term really comes from, is that you're not limited by those above you. You can nail the whole game in a row. You could play perfectly, and if you have ever played a game, you'll understand. If you play perfectly, you can destroy an opponent much greater than you. There is no training and conditioning in video games, unlike in real sports. Like, someone can't be stronger than you. If you hit the right buttons, they'll lose. And someone who's unbounded but very poorly skilled, maybe they'll happen to hit all the right buttons. And I think a lot of it comes from if you play Super Smash Bros. Or fighting game tournaments. They just know how to do very simple setups, and so you will you see these players, and sometimes they'll go against a really great opponent, the best player in a region, and they'll 3-stock him, and it's like, how did he do that? How did he do that? This doesn't make any sense. Nobody could beat him, but how did this guy randomly 3-stock? And the next game he gets 3-stocked because the better player is a better player, and he thought around it, but it's again that the type of gameplay where it's like, if I execute right, you'll lose, and I think that's really important. Anyway, guys, just a little theory from me on skill level, how skill level works, how rank 1 is separate from rank 2, because I think a lot of people really look at that and really idolize the rank 1 spot, and then 2 through 100 or 2 through X. They kind of ignore, and I don't think that's unsubstantiated. I don't think it's unfair. I think it's totally reasonable. I mean, it's a human instinct to do that. And actually, I'm going to say one more thing. I don't think all number one players in all realms are like that. I mean, what if you just have 3 people in a community? It's unlikely that your rank 1 guy is that good. So anyway, I'm going to get here to boy Wook coming at you with some gameplay theory. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I'll see you guys later. Make sure you like the video and subscribe.